So now it's time to move on to the cheeks. Let's do the same thing we did before. Let's just pick any one of our morph targets, since they're all identical, and copy them. I'm going to call this one PM cheek right. Switch to a left view. Let's go into setup. I'm going to set the pivot point on cheek right, right on top of the cheek. Let's go to the back view, position it however we need to see. Excellent. Copy this again. Change this one to cheek left and invert the pivot. Right now the pivot is in positive value, so if you change the pivot inside setup to negative, it should invert the translates as well, keeping everything intact. Let's create a new meta effector inside the Tools tab. Call this one Cheek Right ME. Let's go to our weight list, check to toggle that into the weight drawing for the current meta effector. Let's add an effector field. Set this field radius to 0.1 as a default. Move this one over the right cheek. Let's move that down just a bit. Let's move it down on Y. Set the X radius, Z radius. Okay. So cheek right. Mirror that across with the divide key on the keypad. Just rename this one to cheek left ME. And make sure to rename the effector field. Don't worry about the number increment. And let's unhide some more cluster sliders here by right-clicking on the colors. So underneath the target, let's pick cheek left, cheek right. Let's go to the weight. Go to, let's see, cheek right and cheek left. See if we've got that right. Cheek left, cheek left, cheek right, cheek right. Looks good. Okay, these are all maxed out. So now if we go into Animate, just move these all. Let's turn this back to smoothen edges. Pick our cheeks. Make sure we're out of pivot. And just into move. Move the cheeks around. Now the cheeks move around. So you can see the pattern here. We can duplicate this as many times as we want, and if we make any changes to the original mesh, as long as we can keep these meta effectors always contacting, we can replace this mesh with anything else we need. Plus, everything else inside this mesh, even though I've transformed this down, if we pick the right corner and move it, it adds on top. So we're not getting any mesh conflicts with this. We're getting layered effects using our duplicate mesh thing. This would have been acting exactly the same if we had duplicated this mesh inside the modeling program and created all of these. But now we can dynamically adjust these, and if you want, export all of these as morph targets by selecting the original head and exporting the object. Save object as wavefront, 3ds, DXF, etc. I'll clean up the scene here. Hold down the control key and then set the draw modes to none, so that will mark the children as none, so all we have are our original mesh visible. Let's save this scene as atmorph4.fxs.